Hi, I'm Dennis Gage. Thanks for tuning in to My Classic Car, home of the certified car nut. Well, this week I'm at a private airfield just outside Indianapolis for a gathering of some pretty special cars, all sporting the blue oval somewhere. Now, it's not really a show, it's more of a get-together of folks that fancy high horsepower and low production number. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I met up with event organizer Billy J to get the scoop on how this all got started.
It's a collection of a lot of friends that I've known over the years. You know, I've been doing this stuff for like 30 years around restoring cars and meeting, gathering with all my friends. And this is a kind of a collection of friends and rare Fords and stuff that people don't get out very often, and sometimes not at all. About 80% of them are from Indiana. Everybody's having a great time. I had several people come up to me and thank me and said, "This is great. You know, when are we going to do this again?" You know, type thing. And which we will. We'll do it next year sometime. So.
And it's worked out pretty well. Now you've got kind of an interesting setting here.
Yeah, the setting is a guy's got a private airstrip. He has a couple warbirds and some other various airplanes, which by chance you might get to go for a ride in one of those after a bit.
Quality of the cars is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with these with the cars. I mean, they were, the people that came, all the cars. I mean, there's not hardly any of them that's better than the other. They're all nice quality, good looking appearance cars.
So how did you pull this all together?
Basically passing out invitations, so it was kind of a personal invite. Had at least an 80% response from the invitations. Everybody's having a really good time and coming up and thanking me for the get-together and a chance to be here and the surroundings. Everybody seems to really like the surroundings, so it's very neat atmosphere.
It's very unique. Welcome back to My Classic Car. Well, Ian, this is a beautiful 67 Mustang Fastback, but most guys your age are driving the new Stang.
Yes, they are.
But this one looks an awful lot like the new Stang, doesn't it?
A lot like it.
Even the color. This is a color they brought back for the new Mustang.
Yep, they brought it back just this year.
You've had this for a while too. I mean, when'd you find
I've had it since I was 15 years old. Man. Took it apart totally, didn't leave anything on the car, took every bolt off.
So you weren't screwing around?
No,
You're going to do this right?
Yes.
You were gonna...
The underneath looks just the way it came from the factory.
Now this is a GT, so you kind of got special instrumentation with this, right?
Yes, got a tachometer and a clock, which was quite rare.
Yeah, now 67 had some things that were unique to 67, like the hood turn signals.
Yes.
I think that was only 67.
It was.
And then your fake vents here on the side?
Yes, fake vents in front of the wheels.
Can you open it up?
Sure.
Now this car, the GT came with, well, the 390. It was the first year, right?
Yes, first year big block car.
And they made a hypo 390. Is this actually a hypo car?
No, it's not a real hypo.
But you've hypoed it a little bit?
I have hypoed it.
Have you indeed?
Yes.
It's obviously a high point show car. Do you drive it much?
I drive it about 5 times a year.
5 times a year?
Yeah, just little shows like this.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I sure am glad you picked this as one of the 5 times.
Yes.
Ian, this is a beautiful car, man.
Thank you very much, Dennis.
You got yourself
Thank you.
Piece of history here.
Yes.
Well, Bob, we got another rare one here. I've been saying that all day, but this is a 68 Cougar, right?
Right.
XR7 GTE. Okay,
right.
What was the GTE?
The GTE was the high performance special edition car that they built in 68 only. It's, I think, the rarest of all of the Cougars. And it was the car in which they put the 7-liter engine.
Well, one of the things I always found interesting about Cougars is there's sort of an amalgamation of style. The rear deck here is clearly Mustang. I mean, you kind of look, that feels very Mustang. But the rear quarter feels Thunderbird to me, 67, 68 T-Bird. So it's kind of this luxury amalgamation.
Well, that's the way the Cougar was, that's the target audience for it, is the luxury, kind of the luxury Mustang.
Yeah,
and,
well, it's carried through,
It had the wood grain dash, it had all the gauges, the XR7 package did.
The tack looks nice.
Right. It's,
now your interior is actually a dark blue, and it looks like leather.
It is leather.
And is that correct?
It came from the factory with leather.
And the steering wheel looks a little funky, kind of tilted.
The steering wheel is that classic Ford flyaway steering wheel. It's just like the D-Birds had.
Oh yeah.
After you get it in, you put it back where it's supposed to be.
And then could you release that, or how did it?
It releases when you open the door.
Well, can you open up? Let's look at that 427.
Okay. There you go.
Oh yeah. Very nice, very stock looking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's very stock. We always do a car strictly to stock. everything we have. This car is just the way it came off the factory floor. It has the white wall F70 14 wide oval tires on it. So
Correct as it can be.
as we can get it, yes.
Beautiful. Now, I mean, it's gorgeous. It's clearly a show car, but do you drive this one or not?
I drive it all the
You
time.
drive it all. You
Right.
do you drive all your cars?
I drive all my cars.
Oh, I
And we have
respect
about
that, yeah.
60 of them, and we try to drive them. I try to burn a tank full of gas through them at least once a year, every one of them.
You know, they need that too. But that's so important, I think. I mean, it's just, these things need to be out on the road.
Yeah.
I really
It's-
genuinely respect that.
That's right. It's a shame to keep an automobile stuck in a garage or an airplane stuck in a hangar. So,
Boy, very well put. Thanks for bringing
All right,
it up, Bob.
thank you.
Beautiful Cougar there. Welcome back to My Classic Car. Steve, we meet again. Last time it was the King Cobra. This time, Thunderbolt.
Yes, sir.
Now this was an insane car to begin with. You bought this new, is that right? This was
Yes,
your
sir, I
Thunderbolt
did.
originally.
I did bought it in 1964 from Crowley Motor Company in Opelika, Alabama.
They were factory-built race cars, right?
Ford wanted to win the Superstock Championship that year, and they were determined to put these in the hands of real live drag racers.
And did they?
Yes, they
Yes,
did.
they did. Well, these were much feared cars, and they're monsters. But what made a Thunderbolt a Thunderbolt?
Well, it's built specifically for drag racing. The body has no sound deadener, no seam sealer, has a rubber floor mat,
Yeah.
seats out of an Econoline van, fiberglass fenders, hood, doors, plexiglass windows, and we usually change the windshield out to plexiglass after we got delivery, aluminum bumpers, and then of course the fearsome 427 high riser with 2 4s.
That is pretty fearsome. But every place you could save a pound, they saved it here, right?
All aluminum transmission, 4-speed, basic interior,
Very basic.
empty trunk, nothing there but a 90-pound Ford tractor battery over the right rear tire.
A Ford tractor battery. Well, let's have a look at this much feared and much revered 427. Wow. It was a monster, wasn't it?
It was. It's a 427 high riser, which only was used in the Thunderbolts and the lightweight Galaxies.
And that's what the hump in the hood's for, right?
And that's what the hump is for. And of course, it came with a ram air box and 2 8-inch hoses going to the high beam headlight sockets.
That's right. Yeah, they sacrificed the headlights for ram air ducts.
Right.
Wow. So how'd you do in it?
Well, I won a lot of races. My first race out was with Black Trash, Jack Cooley from Morgan City,
Oh, yeah.
Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
And I cleaned his clock in no time at all.
Just looking at him in your rear view mirror, is that
That's
right?
it.
Man. Well, you've always got cool stuff. You brought not only the T-Bolt, but you brought a couple others. Let's go look at your other toys.
All right, that'll be fine.
King Cobra's looking as good as the day we did it. It's such a wild looking machine.
That's a nice car, isn't it?
It sure is. That Larry Shinoda front end.
That's a good one.
But something else sporting what looks like almost the same front end is your Cyclone spoiler too. Maybe this is even more rare than the King Cobra.
This is Lincoln Mercury's version of the King Cobra, and it was titled by Speed Week magazine as the world's first 200-mile-an-hour production automobile.
Wow. And it could do 200 miles an hour?
I believe they would with that Boss 429 engine in it.
Now, is that a standard Boss 429?
No, that's a NASCAR version of the Boss 429. It's
So that's the
high
big boss.
That's the big boy. It's got high compression and extra oil and extra cooling and the 4-speed transmission. Well, this was driven by Mose Lane, and he was a vice president for Lincoln Mercury. He was a performance advocate, and this was given to him as a gift by Larry Shinoda, the designer.
So when it
With-
kind of got kiboshed as a race car, it became an exec's car.
Right.
Trick interior, is that correct?
That's the original Cyclone interior. It has the tack and the gauges in the dash, and it has the 140-mile-an-hour speedometer.
And a complete silverback seat.
Yeah, that's strange.
It is, it's wild, but it looks great. It looks great. And then with the orange outside, man, it is a shocking orange. All the way back to the, the monster Torino Cyclone trunk. Can I bring this down a little
Sure,
bit?
bring the trunk
Because
down.
it actually has the spoiler on it.
Yeah, that's why they named it. It has a spoiler on the rear deck, and it has more or less a bubble back window, which was better on the NASCAR track than the concave window on the King Cobra.
So they would felt that this one would actually perform
This
better?
would actually have been a faster car than the King Cobra.
Man, well, they're so extreme looking, and Larry Shinoda is the the man credited for that front end, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's not just, it's a fiberglass nose, but it's the entire front end is glass, is that right?
Yes, sir, all the way back to the doors. Other than that, it's just a standard Cyclone.
Other than that, and the NASCAR Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Bus for, oh, that,
right.
yeah.
That little detail.
Well, Steve, you always have great cars. I tell you, I love checking them out because it's always something different. Thanks for
We
bringing them
love
out.
Fords.
We
Thank you
love
very
Fords.
much. I enjoyed it.
Welcome back to My Classic Car. This private gathering of some of the rarest Fords ever built was so awesome, and this lightweight Galaxy fit right in. Well, Mark, here's another rare one, a 64 lightweight Galaxy, right?
Yes.
Now, they made these in 63.5 too?
Yes, the 63 version had fiberglass doghouse, doors, deck lid, and then aluminum bumpers.
How about the 64?
The 64 just had a fiberglass hood, then the rest of the body was acid dipped, 6-cylinder frame, lightweight bucket seats. That was about it.
And a 6-cylinder frame can take this engine?
That's what they say.
That's what they say. Now, how about the interior? Is this kind of what it would have looked like?
The interior's been modified slightly. It's had a roll cage added to it for Super Stock E, the tachometer, and the shifter. It's got the original bucket seats in it that were purchased in about '86 from the original owner.
Beautiful, though. Did you do the restoration on it?
A friend of mine, actually, that I graduated high school with, painted it for me and did the body work for me.
He does nice work. Well, let's open it up. Let's look at your 427. All right. Now that's pretty much, is that the same engine as the T-Bolt? More or less?
Pretty much. The only real difference is the intake manifold. That's actually a T-Bolt intake manifold. The plenum is just a little bit different in design. Most people wouldn't notice a difference. The other things that are a little bit different, the airbox has an 8-inch oval on it compared to the Thunderbolt, which has a 6.
So it could actually pull more air in there. There's certainly a larger
I think they
area.
did it for the hood clearance.
So these did not come out through the headlight. They came out
Nope.
through these grill cutouts, eh?
A common mistake a lot of people make when they try to make a retro car is they knock the headlights out, and that's not correct for this car.
Well, it's an awesome car. What do you think of being, in league with all of these rare?
There's some
Fords
very
here.
unusual cars here, so there's some stuff competition. There's some very beautiful machines.
Yeah, but you got the only lightweight Galaxy here.
That's true.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay, so we had some time to kill. I figured, let's kill it in an experimental stunt plane. I mean, it's a private airstrip, and I'm always game for a little adrenaline rush. The things I do in the line of duty.
This is about as much fun as you can have with your clothes on, I think. Though I think I saw God.